Hey everyone, it's Saturday, January 9th, 2021. Welcome to episode 48 of the Ginger and the Beard podcast. I'm AJ, aka The Ginger.
And I'm Reese, aka The Beard.
On this week's show, we'll be reviewing a tasty coconut and cacao nibs porter, giving our thoughts on upcoming UFC events to start off the new year, and discussing news that Apple may be working with Hyundai to develop the Apple car.
Oh, cool. We'll also be discussing Dry January's health benefits, reviewing controversial UFC decision wins from 2020, the upcoming CES event, and what game would we send into the future?
Oh, that should be fun.
Yeah.
But before we get started, I want to remind you guys to subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, and if you really want to help us grow the show, please tell a friend to check us out.
Yes, and make sure to check out the YouTube chapters or the timestamps in the description if you'd like to skip around to your favorite topics. All right, man, we have a lot to cover, so let's get into this. How was your week?
It was good, man. This super long week. We use Google Calendar at work, and any meeting that I have is a little blue block on my calendar. It was like solid blue block this week. The whole week was a blue block. Yikes. It was intense. Yeah, it was exhausting, man. So I'm taking this weekend to recover and just try to relax a little bit, drink some delicious beer, play some video games, talk to you,
nice.
Hang out with the family and just kind of recuperate because it was a pretty brutal week, but good nonetheless. So how about you, man? How was your week?
Yeah, it was busy as well. I feel like beginning of the year just never bodes well for work. So same kind of thing, just really busy. But, I started a new hobby, I guess you could call it almost, rucking as an exercise. So I've been doing a lot of walking this week and rucking. So like legitimate, I have a nice big old rucksack.
Nice.
Here,
That thing's sweet.
Yeah, it's got about 25 pounds in it, and then I'm still drinking out of this sucker right here. I got a water bladder, so
nice.
I got some new toys for the week. Had a really crazy workout this morning, and anyway, man, yeah, it's just been it's like the New Year's resolution thing, but like I'm not on social media being like, ooh, New Year's resolution, like
hashtag New Year, New Me.
Yeah, like no, I'm just trying to do lifestyle changes here, man. So
yeah,
get into that in a little bit,
dude.
when I tell you about Dry January.
Oh, fun stuff. Yeah, man, I'm excited for your rucking. I think it's super cool. It sounds I want to say fun, but fun doesn't seem like the most appropriate word.
I think
but it sounds cool. I don't know.
It's definitely different, but I think like it's a nice like you kind of like break up the monotony, especially during COVID. We're like I've been at home mostly. I don't have children, so like we don't have to like do all that. We just stay at home pretty much. So I've just been inside the house playing video games for like a long time. So it's nice to get out. Like there would be days where there would be like almost like weeks where I would just not go outside sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'd have my blinds closed and like I just didn't get any sunlight. So now it's, getting outside and breathing the fresh air, seeing the sunlight.
Get some of that vitamin D.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Apparently that's pretty good in terms of, defending against COVID. So,
oh yeah,
who knows if that's true or not, but.
Oh no, it's definitely true. Yeah, it's tested. Not necessarily against COVID, but just immunities in general.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of. Anyway, we don't have to get into that right now, but we could do like a whole segment on benefits and anyway.
But we will be talking about the benefits of Dry January very shortly.
And delicious beers. So,
yes.
Do you just want to get into that?
Yeah, man. Let's get to it.
All right. What you drinking, dude?
Well, sir, I am drinking a Pastry porter horse, not porterhouse, as you might guess, from New Realm Brewing. Yeah, check out this cool little horse.
New Realm Brewing, huh?
Yeah, New Realm Brewing. Shout out to Eric Leach. We had on the show a couple episodes ago. He actually is responsible for designing this wicked awesome can.
I love the can.
So if you guys, yeah, it's awesome. If you guys aren't watching the video, number one, go check us out on YouTube. Number two, it's a very colorful, illustrative can. or to use Eric's words himself, hyper illustrative. It's a horse. I assume to be a male horse with like, it looks like a wife beater on, or maybe I don't know, maybe that's like an apron, a cooking apron. Maybe it's a baking apron. That's baked pastry, so that would make more sense.
Yeah.
But there's like cupcakes, all over the place, and little horses at the bottom here pulling like little buggies of cupcakes.
Pulling a cupcake.
It's kind of hard to see in the video here, but just really fun can design. And I've had a couple of these already. It's a little bit of a cheating a little bit there. But I had a couple of these already. So I got a little bit of a sneak preview. It's very delicious, man. I think, even beyond just this time of year, like, the colder months, I'm, getting more into stouts and porters and things. But porters, man, they're like working their way up my list in terms of like my favorite types of beer. Because people do like such cool, like fun stuff with them. And, every once in a while, I just kind of like something sweet and easy to drink and not super hopped. So that just definitely falls right into that category. So let's go ahead and give it a pour.
I think they typically have a little bit more hops in them as well compared to stouts. So, I mean, I can understand why that's striking your fancy there. Looks nice. Did you go to the brewery to get it, or was it in the stores?
Ooh, that's a dangerous pour right to the top there.
Stay away from the keyboard, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to stay back. This actually was in Wegmans. I could have gone to the brewery, but I just happened to be in Wegmans building a 6-pack and saw this there. And I was like, oh, no, it's my dude, Eric. So I had to pick it up.
Nice.
Because I hadn't actually tried this one before we spoke to him. So, but yeah, very nice, dark brown color. It looks really black on the camera, but it's overly saturated there. It's not quite, I wouldn't say it's 100% opaque, but it's a very, very nice dark brown color there with a thick head. Very consistent bubbles, as you would usually point out.
I noticed when you were pouring it, it wasn't as opaque as I thought it'd be. And then even the color of the bubbles, usually the color of the bubbles are a little bit more like mocha or like caramel or like like darker. Those look pretty like cream colored.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say it is very cream colored. And like that's kind of like the theme throughout this beer, if you ask me. Like it's just very creamy mouthfeel. Like the flavor is kind of that like you pick up a lot on that cream vanilla-y sort of flavor. But it's brewed, like I said, with coconut and cacao nibs. So you pick up a little bit on that chocolatiness.
That's a fun word.
Cacao. Sounds like a martial arts movie. But let's go ahead and give it a sniff here. I'm not sure if my senses are fully recovered from COVID yet. Like, I don't know if I have 100% of my smell buds back yet. Is that a word? I should just coin that. Smell buds.
Smell buds. Seems legit.
But I definitely pick up on that. Like I said, the sweetness, kind of that creamy sensation. Not a lot of coconut. I don't pick up a lot of coconut in the aroma, but a little bit of that cacao and vanilla. So let's go ahead and give it a taste. Oh man, so good.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad like describing this in front of you right now as because of what we're about to get into, but
I'm just wiping it from my mind.
It's like I almost like, now that we keep saying the word creaminess, like I almost can relate it to like a delicious cream soda, like on a hot day. Like, you remember the cream sodas? Oh,
I loved them.
The taste and like texture of those things, on a super hot day.
Yeah.
That's exactly kind of what I pull from this. And the coconut, again, with the taste, it's kind of hard for me to find. I'm searching for it right now. I'm going to give it another sip. Yeah, I mean, I can get that coconut right on the front there just a little bit, but I really have to look for it. And the cacao nibs, usually when you see something advertised with having cacao nibs in it, you expect that like overpowering chocolatiness. But it's very subtle with this one. I would just say, like, overall, man, this is just very well balanced. The mouth feels amazing. The the head is nice and thick still. It just kind of hangs out there. It's not going away, and it kind of adds to it with each sip too. And that flavor, I mean, I do pick up a little bit on the hoppiness on the finish, and it kind of sticks around with me a little bit, but it's not overbearing, and just very subtle. The whole thing is just very sweet and subtle, and it's just a very nice beer to drink to kind of kick back and chill at the end of the night, man. And I'm kind of sad that this is my second to last one. I'm gonna have to go pick up some more before they're all gone. So 8.9% overall. Yeah, I highly recommend this. If you're in Virginia Beach or Hampton Roads, you should be able to find this at some of the local grocery stores. If not, make sure you go check out New Realm. Pick up a pack of this before it's too late. So, and shout out once again, Eric Leach, for that can design. Make sure you go check out that episode where we interviewed him and got to know a little bit more about what makes a good label design and how that impacts, people's decision to buy.
Yeah. And the focus that they put on the whole package, it sounds like they delivered the whole package in that
They did,
beer.
man. Yeah.
Label design all the way throughout.
They definitely captured the beer's personality, as Eric would say.
Oh, man.
That was one of the cool. I was like, most people would probably ask you, like, what the hell are you talking about? The personality. He's like, well, when we think about the name of a beer, we think about what's the personality of this beer. I thought that was kind of cool. I know you did as well. Like, kind of like as beer nerds, it makes sense to us.
Yeah. No, dude, I loved it, man. When he said that, I was like, oh yeah, it makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah. So let's see. What about you, man? What are you drinking tonight?
High quality H2O, man. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Drinking water out of this bladder here. So
local? Is it local? Where'd you get it from?
Yeah, right from the tap. Sent it through a Berkey, and now it's in this blue bladder. Two and a half liters right here.
Is that a lot? Or how much are you trying to drink a day?
A gallon.
Nice.
But I got this for that.
Oh boy. Big dog status.
One of these a day. Fill it up every morning and then just chug away. Anyway, yeah, man. So no beer today, clearly. So I gave up alcohol for the month of January. My wife and I do this every year for the past 3 or 4 years now. Certainly as a reset, but there's also a lot of other stuff going on behind it. And we just kind of did this on our own. It wasn't actually tied to what I'm about to talk about here in a second. It was kind of just hey, we should just do this. And then we did it because we wanted to save money and we wanted to be healthier. And come to find out, there's like a lot of people that do this. So, basically there was some testing done to figure out what are the benefits of it. So giving up alcohol for just 1 month has lasting benefits, mental, physical, and hey man, your pocket. What's up? So, I guess it was started by Alcohol Change, United Kingdom, which is a, what am I going for? Donations, right? They do
charity?
Charity. Yeah. They're like a charity group in the United Kingdom. I don't know why I was struggling on that. Anyway,
it's been a week.
It's because I don't have a beer. That's why.
Yeah,
anyway.
Exactly.
So thousands of people around the world pledge to take part in this campaign each year. It's not just the United Kingdom. So I thought that was pretty cool. And, just using basic logic, right? Like probably it's a good thing that, since excessive alcohol consumption leads to, cancer, liver disease, cardiovascular disease, etc., it's probably good to abstain from alcohol, right? Even if it's just a month. That's just basic logic,
Makes
right?
sense.
Yeah, but there was a study by researchers from the University of Sussex that indicated dry January can improve your life and that there's long-lasting benefits. So let me get into it. So basically, there was 2,821 people that filled out a survey at the start of January. Basically, 60% of those participants were to then complete the survey right after January, and another 40% of the participants completed the survey 7 months later. So the people who took part in dry January indicated many health and physical health benefits, as well as less spending, like I said. Here's some of the stats. So starting from the top, let me get through this list as quickly and clearly as I can. 93% experienced a sense of achievement. That's pretty obvious. 88% had saved the money that they would have spent, so they put it into a savings account. 82% reported an enhanced awareness of the relationship with alcohol. That makes sense, and that's very good. 80% felt more in control of their drinking habits. Cool. 76 understood when they felt more tempted to drink and why. Understanding your addictions, I guess. 71% learned.
Work.
Yeah. 71% learned that they did not need alcohol to have fun, which should be obvious. And they also said that they enjoyed a better quality of sleep. 70% reported better overall health. 67% had higher energy levels. 58% lost weight. That's pretty significant. 57% reported improved concentration. And then 54% said that they noticed better skin health. So,
interesting.
Just in line with that, what I've noticed in my previous years of doing it, and what I've already noticed in the first week of doing it, is certainly saved a shit ton of money already. Certainly higher energy levels. I've already lost a crazy amount of weight. I'm not going to share that here, but it's like pretty ridiculous. And like the biggest thing is like the brain fog's gone. Now, I don't know if the brain fog's due to exercise and like eating healthier, or if it's due to not drinking. It's probably a combination of those. But like I can think clearer. I can have conversations better. I can recall things except for the name Charity. So all really, really cool things. And then Dr. Richard Pipers, the CEO of Alcohol Change UK, said this. The brilliant thing about dry January is that it's not really about January. Being alcohol-free for 31 days shows us that we don't need alcohol to have fun, to relax, or to socialize. And that's, kind of shown by the numbers as well. So yeah, man, pretty, I think it's a good thing to do. Certainly, I'd love to help the breweries and buy their beer, because I know most breweries take a hit in January. Everybody's been drinking over the holidays, and then some people are doing dry January, so the breweries aren't doing so well Q1. I'd love to support them, but I gotta put myself above all. So sure, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I think that's admirable, man. There's other ways you can support the breweries too if you really, really, if they absolutely need it, which I'm sure they do. But you could buy merch, you could buy gift cards, you could buy whatever. Some of them sell food. New Realm obviously has a giant full-size kitchen, so
I could technically still buy the beer.
Yeah, you technically could. Hey man, I got a beer fridge now, so I could stock up all month and not drink any of
it. I'm so jealous. I want one.
I know, it's pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. But no, some of that stuff's interesting, man. Like I feel like the older I get, the more I recognize like the brain fog thing, like you mentioned. Like,
right.
I, during the day working from home, have zero distraction. Like, as weird as that sounds, like working from home, I'm so much more focused than working in an office. But still, even with zero distraction, sometimes I think it's a normal thing that people experience. I just find myself just staring at the screen. I'm just like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And I have to like snap out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
some of that's like paralysis by analysis. Like, there's just too much to do, so you don't even know what to do. But I think some of that's also, I don't have the greatest memory or like brain function to begin with,
and that attention deficit, like,
yeah.
I don't have ADD or ADHD, but like, I feel like I do.
Yeah, for sure. Some days. So that's interesting, man. I might have to give it a try one day. I think the hardest thing for me is like, it's just something I enjoy, which I know you're in the same boat. I enjoy it so much just from like the taste and the experience standpoint.
Yeah. It's not a problem for either of us. It's not like we're alcoholics. We drink a couple beers a week, and it's not like we're drinking a 30 rack of Bud, We're over here drinking like craft beer to enjoy, to experience, to try new things. And it's like rarely the same thing ever.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point, is trying different stuff. Yeah, exactly. I think it's not like literally my granddad, which I'm not sure if alcoholism was a thing back then. It was just like what you do. I mean, he literally had cases and cases of Natty Light in the refrigerator at all times, and that was his water. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Jeez, yeah, dude, I do. My dad did it with Bush.
Yeah,
always be a 30 rack of Bush.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I'm drinking like at most a craft beer a night, You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
But that's interesting, man. I mean, like we've talked before, that we had Brian Reedy on from Gamer Advantage with the blue light glasses. We talk about how that impacts your sleep and overall mental clarity and things like that.
Yep.
Then you talk about diet, as you mentioned, exercise and alcohol and all that stuff plays into it. Yep. Shane and I a long time ago did the paleo diet. I know we're kind of rambling on this topic here, but you essentially cut out like all dairy, all gluten. I don't even remember what else, but it's just eating clean, essentially just meats and vegetables and no processed stuff. And I felt so good, man. I had so much energy and like got rid of like any indigestion I had. I didn't have to have like afternoon coffee anymore. So it's just interesting how like these minor diet tweaks can have an impact on you. So
that's
I commend you for doing this.
That's pretty much what I'm doing right now. Like I didn't even call it paleo. Like I'm not following like a paleo diet, but I'm only eating fresh fruits and vegetables, uncooked. Yeah. And then I eat a big old serving of fresh fruits and vegetables in the morning. Just cram it in, and then at night, all I've been doing is eating a 10-ounce steak. That's it.
Oh, sounds so good. I love steak, man.
And I'm happy with that. Oh, I'm sorry. Good. And a cup of rice with turmeric.
Good call.
Yeah.
I used to take turmeric supplements, mainly because Joe Rogan said so. Anyways.
They say turmeric. So
it's anti-inflammatory.
One last thing, and then we can move on. Yeah, it's an anti-inflammatory, but also it helps to activate zinc, and zinc is what can get into coronavirus cells and shut them down, basically.
Yep.
If the zinc ion, I guess, gets into coronavirus, it actually like completes the pairing so that the COVID can't like attach to us. So, but like zinc on its own won't be able to penetrate the COVID. You actually need the active ingredient inside of turmeric, which I believe is curcumin, to do that. So anyway, fun fact for the day.
Fun fact, yes.
Yeah,
man.
So anyway, really water.
Cool, yeah. So you guys out there, let us know. Are you participating in Dry January? Because we have heard, from a few different people that they are participating in that. Randomly, some of the dudes we were playing video games with like the other weekend, they're like, "Yeah, I'm not drinking anything. I'm doing Dry January." You're like, "Oh no way, me too."
Yeah.
So really cool. You guys let us know if you're doing it, and if you are, how else are you supporting breweries, or what's your strategies and all that good stuff. But I think beyond that, man, we got some UFC news to talk about finally.
Yeah, those UFC guys, their water consumption's a little wonky. Let's do this. Sometimes they go for a couple of days, weeks without drinking any water, but that's neither here nor there, right?
To shrivel themselves up on purpose. So, yeah, man, finally back to some UFC news. I saw something today that I didn't even put in these show notes, but I just thought of it. So we'll get to that in a second. But to kind of kick things off here, I'm not sure if you saw this news, but the UFC is donating $1 million to brain research at the Lou Ruvo Center in Las Vegas. And that's all going towards research on CTE. And at this point, they've now donated over $2 million in 3 different rounds of donations towards the same cause and research. I don't need to explain to the people out there what CTE is or why it's important that we research it, but thought it was interesting that, in this article by ESPN, they mention how Bellator, Top Rank, and Golden Boy, all these organizations have also made significant contributions to the same research. And that's unlike other sports, is what they said. So obviously football being a major contributor to CTE cases. Just today, watching the Rams beat the Seahawks. Woo, go Rams. In the playoff game, the starting quarterback for the Rams got a shoulder to the head. It was taken out of the game on the first, or the second set of downs, I think. I think it was a neck injury, but that's a perfect example of how people get that kind of brain trauma. And obviously the UFC is no different. You're taking repeated shots to the head. You get knocked out and you fall backwards on your head. Your head smacks the mat. That's all scary, dangerous stuff that can lead to diagnosis. But what I thought was really cool about this is beyond just researching CTE and understanding that further, this donation is actually supposed to go towards funding the development of new imaging technologies that will allow for CTE to be diagnosed in living patients.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that's really cool because if you guys don't know, CTE can only really, at this point, be diagnosed with an autopsy and brain, looking at the actual deceased brain. So
post-mortem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So that would be huge because finding early signs of CTE would help, obviously look for people or help people look for symptoms. I think back to I'm probably going to mess his name up. I don't know if it's right or not, but I think it's like Aaron Hernandez or something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right. And he's the one that killed some people and then committed suicide.
I think he was a tight end on the Patriots.
He was.
For the Patriots. And he killed somebody and all this stuff. But once he killed himself in prison, it's kind of dark, but once he committed suicide in prison, they looked at his brain and he had CTE, which can lead to acts of violence and things like that. So if they were able to diagnose that sooner on, something like that could have been prevented. So thought this was super cool.
Yeah, man. Really happy to see that. You got to see more stuff like this because, fortunately for UFC fighters, there's not as much brain trauma as in boxing or in, football. But then if you compare them to like tennis, which has like no brain trauma, so they're kind of like in the middle road there. But I think it's great. We need to have this. We need to find out what's going on. I wonder if I have it. Help me out. Send me there.
Yeah, right. You would think that something like a simple brain scan, MRI or CAT scan or something would be able to show it, but I guess there's something, I don't know anything about brains obviously, but
it might show it. They just probably haven't, done the research to be able to accurately diagnose it or identify it. So hopefully, with this, it's probably going to take more than a couple $1 million, frankly, to get it done.
Sure.
But hopefully, in the next 10 years, they'll have an answer or a better idea, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, and the other thing I saw today that I hadn't even put in our notes document was that there's news out now that it was either 2 or 3 events that will be happening for the UFC on Fight Island will actually have a limited amount of attendees in the stands. So we have some fans. That's pretty exciting, man. Obviously, there's still COVID spikes in the United States. We're not going to spend our time talking about that right now, but kind of exciting to see people actually getting the opportunity to go and attend some sort of live sporting event. Who's flying out to Fight Island to watch an event? I don't know, but maybe it's the people of Yaz Island actually going to go and attend. Probably more likely the case.
Yeah, right.
But that's kind of cool. And on that same note, we've got our first headliner kind of announced for the year, Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar. This should be a good one, man. I'm excited to see Max back in the octagon, and it's a main event. It's not even a pay-per-view. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And this is actually the first show that the UFC is going to have on ABC. I don't know if you saw that as well, but it's
it ABC or CBS?
I'm pretty sure it's ABC. That was what I saw. I actually saw that right before.
Yep, you're right.
Right before ABC. We went live. So, yeah, man, that's awesome. Right? I don't know if there's not gonna be like live people for this fight. I don't think, but like by the Conor Dustin fight, that's gonna be interesting because there's gonna be people there.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. How could you not have people in attendance for a Conor fight?
Yeah. Sorry to go back to that, but
there's got to be some drunk people in the audience waving an Irish flag. I mean, it wouldn't be a Conor fight if not, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But yeah, that's interesting that it's going to be on ABC. I wonder what the decision is behind that. I mean, that's great for the UFC. Some more national, not that ESPN's not national, but some more kind of presence. That's pretty cool. It is at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, though, just to be aware. On a Saturday, 3 p.m., make sure you're tuned in for that. That should be interesting.
That's too late for me, man. I'll probably be sleeping.
3 p.m., yeah. I'll be chasing kids around the house, so hopefully I can catch some of it. If not, I'll watch the recordings, obviously. But
Nice.
I mean, I guess just really quick takes so we can get to some of our other stuff. Any thoughts on who you like in that fight?
I'm a fanboy, man. I like Holloway. Calvin Kattar has proven himself time and time again, though. I don't think this is going to be an easy fight. I think this is going to be a close fight, and my money's on Holloway.
I agree. I think Calvin's a great fighter. He's coming off some fairly impressive wins against Jeremy Stevens, Dan Ige in 2020. But those guys really, as much as I like Jeremy Stevens, they're not really not top tier at this point. You know, they kind of have seen their prime, I feel like. His last loss, Calvin Kattar's last loss, was against Zabit. And obviously I don't remember. Oh, was it?
Very, yeah. Because it was supposed to be a 5-round fight, and then it got moved to a 3-round fight. And Zabit was doing really good in the first 2 rounds, and that he just plummeted in the 3rd round. So it was controversial because it was supposed to be a 5-round fight, and I think if it was,
Calvin would have taken it.
Would have probably taken it. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. And then you've got Holloway on the other hand, who's been fighting nothing but the best for so long, and has only recently slipped to Volkanovski, 2 back-to-back losses to Volkanovski, and I know he's obviously bitter about that. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm on the Holloway hype train, and I think this is going to be a stand-up, knockdown, drag-out sort of fight. I don't think there's going to be much groundwork here, personally, but it should be an exciting one to watch nonetheless.
I'm actually going to be breaking down Holloway's last loss here in a couple seconds. But I agree, man. Yeah, here we go, dude. Here we go.
That's right. And I guess real quick before we get to that, there's a couple of interesting fights on that card earlier in the night. Joaquin Buckley, which if you guys don't know that name, he's very new to the UFC, but has one of the best knockouts of 2020 with a spinning back kick,
heel to the face,
heel to the dome knockout. He's back now against Alessio Di Chirico. I don't know how I pronounce that. And also on the prelim card, we've got Phil Hawes versus another hard to pronounce name, Nasruddin
Imavov,
maybe
something like that.
But Phil Hawes had an 18-second knockout in his debut with the UFC.
Ooh.
So two really aggressive, really dominant fighters are coming out on this card. So I'm pretty excited to check that out. But
wow.
Yeah, man, lots of good stuff coming up in 2021.
Pretty excited for that. Hopefully it keeps coming. So yeah, man, I'm gonna jump right into this robbery review roundup, right? Let's take a little look at some of the closer calls of 2020. Maybe not like the closest calls, but like the close calls when titles were on the line. And since you brought up Max Holloway, let's go ahead and look at Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway 2. So this was UFC 251. It was on July 11th, 2020. I'm pretty sure we both watched the fight.
Mm-hmm.
I know I watched it. I'm pretty sure you watched it. So the judges awarded the fight to Volkanovski 48-47, 47-48, and 48-47. So just very, very close.
Decision.
Very close. I had that fight 3-2 Holloway, actually. I thought that Holloway won the first 3 rounds pretty clearly, and then Volkanovski came back and just barely, in my opinion, won the last 2 rounds. So those were my thoughts on it. So before I give you the media score and what the majority of the fans thought, what do you think?
Dude, honestly, it's kind of hard for me to recall the fight. It's been so long now. I can hardly remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, but I seem to agree with what you're saying. I think Volkanovski showed us in both of his fights with Holloway that his stamina and his endurance in those championship rounds is quite impressive for a guy who's just now getting to that level, opposed with somebody who's been there before. And I do seem to recall that he was the fresher fighter in those last 2 rounds, but that Holloway especially in the second fight, Holloway looked a lot more prepared for what Alexander had to bring in those earlier rounds. But I do recall there being some controversy around the scoring, and I think you and myself and Toby, our other friend who watches UFC with us, were like kind of going back and forth on who we thought should have taken that, and also questioning like, who are these judges? Like, what are they looking at?
Yes.
So what did the media have to say about it?
Well, first I want to just give you a quick recap the way that I remember it. The first fight I thought was obviously Alexander won that fight. I don't think Holloway was quite ready for it, and I think Volkanovski brought more to the table than he was expecting. Holloway's thing is range, keeping range and then striking from range, and Alexander had an answer for that. But in the second fight, Alexander seemed to be playing a different game, and Holloway was just doing his game, but doing it a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And Holloway, I thought he was just doing very good, just doing his game. And then, like you said, I think Alexander's got great stamina. I mean, Holloway does too, but I think Volkanovski was really able to start edging it a little bit in those later rounds. So here we go.
Yeah.
So the media had Volkanovski winning, right? If you look at, there's like, I don't know, 20 to 30 different media members. Some of them did have Volkanovski. I'm sorry, the majority of the media had Holloway winning. Mm-hmm. There was some of them that had Volkanovski winning, but I would say it was probably like 2-1 probably. For every two Holloways, there was one Volkanovski. And then if you look at the stats from the fans, which you can actually go over to MMAdecisions.com to cast your vote and see these stats for yourselves. 60% of the fans thought Holloway won. So there's a thing. I can't remember if it was like which researcher or which philosopher said this, but basically like the majority of the population having a decision on something has more clout than a researcher.
Interesting.
A researcher's decision. So like you put more faith because you have a bigger sample size, and you have more judges to do that rather than having just a couple experts. So I would say, it makes sense to me. 1,000 people think that Holloway won, but the 3 that matter don't.
Yeah. I just had a hilarious thought. If you've ever watched America's Got Talent or The Voice or American Idol, like, why can UFC fans not sit there with their phones at the end of each round and be like, all right, bro, I had that one, 47-48, whatever. Or 10-9. That was a 10-9 round or a 10-8 round or whatever. Like, why can we not do that?
Or even just have be maybe not even be like fans. Just have 500 UFC fighters that are they have to take a test so that they can get approved to be judges, and then we live in this digital age, come on now. But then they'd be like, oh well, what if the 3-year-old kid's playing with the phone, clicks the button, it's something like that.
That's a cool idea what you just said too, though. There's so many people in the sport, and that's actually a cool way, slide those pseudo judges a couple bucks, right? Like pay them $500 to call a fight or something, and just at the end of each round have 500, a mixture of media, bloggers, fighters, former judges, former referees, whatever,
right?
And just in real time scoring it from wherever they are. So then, to your point, you have a larger sample size. You can trust the results a little bit more so than some dude who has halfway through the round is like, oh, what shit, my wife just texted me. What'd she say? Yeah. It's he's distracted.
Yeah, right. Drinking his coffee, whatever.
Yeah, had a few too many drinks or
looking at the ring girls,
Yeah, exactly, right? So that would be cool. I mean, we have the technology, obviously. Why can't we make that happen?
We can make him better. Anyway,
we have the technology. Anyways.
Yeah, so there's one more, John Jones and Dominic Reyes, and in the interest of time, I'm just going to run through this one. Let's not even get into our opinions on it. John Jones, Dominic Reyes, UFC 247 was on February 8th, 2020. The judges awarded the fight to Jones. It was 48-47, 48-47, and I don't know how, 49-46. Blows my effing mind. Right. I had the fight 3-2 Reyes, but honestly, I probably could have gone 4-1 Reyes. It was like that. So the media had Reyes winning. It was even more tilted towards Reyes. Like it was like 3-1 Reyes with the media, and then more than 70% of fans thought Reyes won, which was just that's pretty astonishing. And frankly, I don't know how the hell they gave it to Jones. He got his ass beat the first 3 rounds. Hands down.
Yeah, that's where the 49-46 one is like, what? Who paid you under the table?
They were watching the ring girls the whole time.
Yeah, that one makes no sense. I do agree with this one. I know we're not going to get into our decisions, but I do recall we had a podcast after this fight, after this card, and we were like, I guess to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. You got to really, that's a stupid saying, but
I thought he did.
I think in the judges' eyes, like unless you have a dominant performance over the champion, they're like always going to lean a little bit towards the champ. But I think it was pretty apparent. That's the fight that to me, I looked at John Jones and like, all right, we're looking at a different John Jones here. The Thiago Santos fight was the first, and then after the Dominic Reyes fight, it's like this is a different guy now.
Yeah. He's not as good.
Yeah, he's not bringing it like he used to, man. And I hope that when he moves up and has to stand toe-to-toe with Francis or Stipe or whoever it is, he brings it. Because otherwise, he's getting smoked.
Yep, absolutely. But to your point, I think it's their performance in the 5th round is what matters, not just beating the champ. I think it's like you have to like beat the champ in the 5th round, it seems like. They put a lot of emphasis on that.
Which is where John excels. But.
Exactly. That's where he wins his fights. But hey, man, that's it for tech. That's it for UFC news. Let's move on. You ready?
Let's do it.
Anyway, what's up?
All right, technology news, man. Honestly, we were talking before the show. Technology news, kind of hard to come by this week. There's a lot going on in the world, and we're not going to get into that side of things, politics and whatnot, but turns out political news buries technology news in today's world. So kind of annoying, but it is what it is. But one thing that came up that stood out to me, I like to talk about Apple news, and people like to hear Apple news. I feel like the Apple car is something that has been in the news or in the rumor mill for quite a few years at this point. Back when Tesla announced their first, Model S and things like that, it's like, hey, when's Apple going to do this? So still nothing concrete around this at this point yet, but there are some headlines circulating saying that Hyundai is actually in talks with Apple to produce the Apple car. So the deal apparently has been greenlit, but waiting on final signature from a Hyundai chairman, and reports have stated that Apple has plans to have a better driving range and better technology than what you could find right now in Tesla. Although our boy Elon Musk has expressed a little bit of criticism around that and saying, he's not really sure how they could actually accomplish what they're saying they could accomplish. And if I had to go with anybody, I would bet my money on Elon versus Tim Cook. But
anyways, shots fired.
Yeah, I mean, I like Tim Cook. I like Apple, obviously, but Elon Musk is a straight up genius. So, my money's kind of with him when he's talking about. I trust his word about technology more so than I do Apple's. But this all kind of brought about to me like Tesla is sort of already the Apple of self-driving electric vehicles. They take things to the next level. They're more luxurious. They're more put together. They think about things from start to finish. They look cool. They make electric powered cars actually sexy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could either buy a Tesla or you could buy a Nissan Leaf. Like, come on. Which one do you feel cooler driving, a Tesla or a Nissan Leaf? You know what I'm saying? Or a Prius.
Come on, we all know.
Yeah, so.
And they're like little freaking toys. They like have all those extra features and stuff.
Yeah, they're super fast, So my question is like, what does Apple really have to bring to the table here? Like, let's just say that they are working with Hyundai or whoever they're working with. Like, what do they actually have at this point to bring to the table? You've got manufacturers like Audi with their e-tron. You've got BMW with some of their electric cars. Porsche has a what's it called? I can't remember the name of their.
I don't know.
It's like a Taycan or something like that. But all these electric vehicles from all these luxury manufacturers, like, how does Apple enter into a space like this and actually compete? Like, what more could they actually offer? Like, any ideas from you on that?
No, I don't. I think I know companies like to diversify and whatnot, but in my opinion, it's a waste of money. It's a waste of investor money when you diversify and you go into something like cars like that. I mean, I know they make, phones, which are basically just computers, and, they have their own batteries. I'm pretty sure they outsource their batteries. So, like, that's one thing that they'd have to solve for. But, yeah, I mean, it's a whole nother route of technology, a lot of development work and whatnot. I mean, they can do it, but I'm sure they will do it. But if they do, I'm probably still going to buy a Tesla unless they come out with something that's like really good point. Like, unless they come out with something that's like really sleek and attractive and has a ton of features,
I'm like, beyond better integration with your iPhone, I just don't understand what they could bring. There are already cars that you can use your phone to unlock the vehicle and start the car with without it being an Apple car.
Yeah.
So I just don't know.
It's It's the full stack, right? Though, I'm sorry. It's the full stack. You could have the Apple. Your whole house could be Apple. Your phone's Apple. Your tablet's Apple. Your computer's Apple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you've got
car.
You've got Apple CarPlay that comes built into a lot of newer vehicles in their display kind of navigation systems. So unless you want a car that's built out of 100%, what do they call it? Unibody aluminum, as Johnny Ive would say. You look at the latest iMac Pro, Mac Pro, and you can buy the caster wheels to mount on the bottom of your Mac Pro. So you could, I don't know why, so I guess you could just roll it around for fun. I don't know. But the caster wheels cost like hundreds of dollars, these stupid little wheels, just because they're designed by Apple, or their monitor stand for their Pro Display XDR monitors, which cost like 10 grand. The monitor stand itself costs $1,000 for a monitor stand, $1,000. So can you imagine how expensive an Apple car might be? But anyways, let's get off. I'm gonna get off my soapbox on this one. I consider this almost like vaporware at this point, where it's something that's being talked about, but probably not going to come to fruition anytime soon. Bloomberg actually reports that this sort of car could still be about 5 years out, and they're a pretty reputable source. But another area that we see, or event that we see a ton of vaporware discussed, is CES, and I believe you've got some news around that.
Yeah, so this one kind of like fell off my radar for a while, but CES 2021 is literally next week. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's an all digital tech show. So usually CES is like all live. It's in Vegas. There's like tons of information. It's always like a really fun time because like it's all about prototypes. Like most of it's just like prototypes or like new shit being released, but it's usually like really goofy, like off the wall stuff. Some of it's like realistic. Most of it doesn't ever come to fruition. Most of it's just scrapped or companies get bought out because they have great ideas. But it's always just so cool to see what people are coming up with and see what could be the next thing. Yep. But of course, it was always people like on the expo floor walking around taking videos. You'd have a lot of YouTubers there and see their points of view. You'd have all the main companies there that are reporting on it, all the big tech reporting companies there as well. So it's different this year. It's all digital. So it's going to be Monday, January 11th through January 14th, Thursday. And it's gonna they're opening its virtual. It says that they're gonna open their virtual doors to attendees, but that's a little bit misleading. What's actually happening is it's a trade only event. So what that means is unless you have some type of industry affiliation, whether you're a reporter or you're a techie yourself, or you work for one of the big tech companies or something like that, then you're not going to be able to go to CES's website and register. Boo. So how are you going to find your information? Well, pretty much you either need to find a big news coverage stream such as PC Gamer, CNET, or IGN. I know that they're going to be like streaming certain events, and you can go to their websites to find what events they're covering, but they're going to be covering different things. So you're just going to have to go, figure it out. I mean, there's so many different companies out there, but you can also go directly to the exhibitor's website basically and find out more information directly from them, or their social medias, of course. See where they're presenting, how they're presenting at CES, and if they offer their own live stream of when they present. So I do recommend that. But your next question probably is, well, how do I know who's going to be there? So you can go to the schedule of events. Digital.ces.tech will take you there. There's also going to be an exhibitor directory there, so you can look at all of the people that are going to be there, if they've signed up for it already or not. And you can see when like the larger events are going to be taking place. So you can click on the exhibitors, find out some more information about them. But yeah, man, that's how it's going to go down. I'm going to be checking it out. I'm sure you will be too.
Yeah, I don't understand why they would make it trade only.
There's Zoom
doesn't
calls.
Make a lot of sense. Yeah, so I guess maybe they're worried about bandwidth or load on the servers, I guess.
Yeah, like having like 30,000 people on a Zoom call, right? Like that's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's just weird that they couldn't figure out a different system. Like, Apple does all their keynotes virtually. Well, they now have been doing all their keynotes virtually, and they have always streamed them live on their website. So, it's kind of odd that CES couldn't come up with like some sort of proprietary streaming.
Just do it on YouTube.
Something. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of weird.
I'm sorry, not even YouTube. Like, just do it on their own website, right? Just stream it.
That's how Apple does it. Yeah, but that's cool nonetheless. I mean, if it's, maybe they just don't want to make it free for everybody. Maybe they just don't want to, I don't know. I mean, I know there's a lot of companies that are doing stuff free that they didn't used to do. Like Adobe Max, for instance, is a creative sort of professionals event that happened later last year. And it was completely free. It never has been before. But this is the Consumer Electronics Show. Can't just be the trade electronics show. Come on, people. Man. Let the consumers watch this stuff.
They want it to get out to consumers and gamers and techies and all that stuff. They do. Yeah. They say that. They want it to get to them. So
man, I bet you know who's hyped right now? Who? CNET, IGN, PC Gamer, all those guys are super hyped. They're like, hey, people can only get the CES coverage from us now. They can't go get it themselves. But
yeah, pretty much.
But not really.
You can find other media sources, but it's like those are the big ones. So like most people are going to go to the big ones, right?
Yeah,
probably.
I mean, I guess in the past it's been the same anyways. Neither of us have ever attended CES. You're always just checking the news sources to find out what's cool. So
yeah, but not much change. I would be scrolling through YouTube and just looking at random people's stuff, going, seeing them talk to people, which I felt like that was always had like a little bit more originality,
Good point. Yeah, good point for sure.
Yeah. Hey, so that's it, man. Pretty exciting. I think we're gonna have a lot more to talk about next week for tech.
Yeah,
not so much
definitely.
This week, but
can't wait to talk about the next holographic projection mapping, some kind of something technology that will never actually exist.
Full bodysuit VR action. Yeah, what's up.
Yeah, with the butt sensors, so you can know when somebody's like touching your butt in VR.
Oh my god.
All that stuff that actually will never exist in real life.
Are you come on now. That's gonna exist someday. If they have those sex dolls over in Japan right now, then they're gonna have
possible.
They're gonna have a butt squeezer for VR.
Yeah, I think one thing that they showed last CES was like, I think it was a Mercedes car that had like all these like holographic like touch screens or whatever. Like it had like no front window, just like a projection. And I was just like, come on, bro. Like, don't even show me this stuff.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
There was a Razer laptop last year that had like 3 screens.
Oh, I remember that. The one that like folded out on the sides.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes total sense.
I can get down.
You can do a lot of gaming on that.
I'm going to game on all 3 of these freaking screens. You better watch out.
Yeah. So moving on.
All right, man. We got some, speaking of gaming, let's get into it.
Yes.
All right. So, not anything really specific happening right now that I want to talk about. I feel like all of the big stuff has kind of happened in the past. There's a lot of controversy, a lot of other crap going on. What I want to say, let's do something fun, right? So, here's my idea. What game would you put into a time capsule for future generations? And a couple things to take into consideration. You can only save one game, right? It's just one game.
Okay.
And you got to think about, first off, like, well, how do you want to influence these people in the future? Do you want to tell a story? Do you just want to give them something goofy? Does it have any meaning? Who cares? How far into the future should we send it? Right?
Mm-hmm.
2 days from now. No.
2 days.
And then what impacts do you expect the game to have on future civilizations?
So, man, this is a real ponder. This is a real head scratcher.
Didn't really give you a lot of time here, did I?
Yeah, I'm racking my brain right now.
So I'll start off, right? And I don't want to influence your decision, but I'll start off on some games that could possibly be it. Duke Nukem. I'm just kidding. Probably not the best one, but like, like RimWorld is a game that I play a lot, which is like a colony sim kind of deal, where you have a bunch of people at your colony and you have to like keep them all alive and feed them and grow plants and put the air conditioner on and have power supplies, and raiders come in and try and kill things. So I was thinking that one's like if I was trying to be responsible, like that one, or like The Sims, right? Everybody knows what The Sims are.
I was literally thinking that.
Would probably be like responsible decisions to, like, if I were to send that, let's just say 3,000 years into the future, because shit's going to be really fucking different in 3,000 years. Like, there might not be any there. Anyway, who knows, man? It could just be like an apocalyptic wasteland by then. Yeah. Maybe there'll be maybe it'll just be like all like cave dwellers, but anyway, who knows? But I think 3,000 years would be very interesting to send it to them. And then, I'm just wondering if they'd even be speaking English. Would they even know what's going on in the game? Would they even understand it? Would it have any meaning to them? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good thought. I mean, things will be so different at that point. But you would think that documentation will allow them to reflect on how we used to be as a people. But just to say, maybe there's some kind of a nuclear fallout, and maybe we lose all of our historical records of
yeah,
and like only the snails on Earth survive, and then one day they evolve into some intelligent beings.
Oh wow.
1
million years from now.
This is a really hard question.
Like the Great Library of Alexandria got burned down in 500 BC. And they say, like, when that happened, we lost a lot of our history. Yeah.
We'd be way smarter right now if that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, we probably could just build pyramids right now if we knew.
I'm trying to think, like, what was the most influential game for me personally? And I think it would probably be Halo, the very first Halo. This is probably the most influential game for me. However, and taking myself out of the equation and thinking about the impacts it would have on the future civilizations, this sounds awful, but Grand Theft Auto, Grand Theft Auto 5 would be good because not only is it a great game, and that far in advance, the game would have so much DLC that it would probably be magnificent. But no, just kidding. But if we did need to allow people in the future to peer into the times that we lived in and understand our culture and how we were as a people, that's a pretty good game to like put it into perspective.
Yeah, dude, I really couldn't agree more. I mean, you get to see the good and the bad in that game.
Especially Grand Theft Auto 5, you've got, because you live 3 completely different personalities. You have the rich white guy, the white trash guy, and the impoverished black guy, who's in gangs and all this. And they're completely different lifestyles, living different, all of them in terrible situations for different reasons.
Yeah.
But, so you get a little bit of breakdown. We're getting real deep on this one.
You
get a breakdown of like classes, capitalism sort of stuff. Yeah, I mean, and then with just the DLC that's out now, you've got casinos, you've got clubs, business, you've got so economy, all kinds of crazy stuff.
That's probably a good one because you really get to show what it was like, now. Mm-hmm. They would be able to see what it's like, what history really was like, or you could send them Crash Bandicoot.
Dude, we're literally on the same equal wavelengths. I was literally thinking like pre-Halo. What was it? It was Crash Bandicoot for me. I freaking love Crash Bandicoot, dude. Yes.
Yeah.
Just a simpler time where what is that animal? I don't even know what he is.
I think he's like a Tasmanian devil or something.
Yeah.
But I don't really know. And like, I don't even remember the plot. Like, I think you're just fighting against some like crazy scientist or something.
Yeah.
And you just like jumping on boxes and
spinning around really fast.
Yeah, spinning around. Yeah, dude, I used to spend so much time on that game. That was my jam back. PlayStation 1 days I'm pretty sure that's when I had it. PlayStation 1.
Yep. Now we're in a reminiscing mode. There was a game we played. I remember this game. I literally can definitively say this was the first game I've ever gotten a fight over. I wish I could remember the name of it. I'm going to have to look it up after we're done recording, but
what was it like?
Maybe it was a game where it's sort of like a race. You can either pick a bicycle, a skateboard, or rollerblades, and you could play multiplayer, and you're racing side by side with these people, and you have to like collect items as you go. But so you're playing with obviously there's no online back then. So your friend beside you is either on a bike or roller skates or a skateboard, and you can like punch and kick the person beside you and knock them off of their vehicle.
Interesting that this made you get in a fight.
Yeah, and I remember like my friend being so much better than me, and he's constantly knocking me off of my thing, and I like literally punched him in the arm because I was so mad at him.
The game became reality.
Yeah, don't put that one in the future.
Nah, probably not. And just for the record, I don't know. I don't think I ever played that one. But there's a couple other ones that I could probably see, like Pokemon, right? Like that's been a big one for a lot of people. I don't know if that one's as like serious, right? And then you could probably send like Fallout 3, which is set in the Washington D.C. Arlington area. That one has a lot of cool shit in it. You could probably send Cyberpunk 2077. That's not a bad one. I mean, I haven't played it yet, but like it's kind of explains, the stuff that we are dealing with as far as like corporations and stuff go, but just set in like a futuristic setting. And then just one that I really like is probably Diablo. Just because I'd be like, guys, you just got to play this.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is interesting to think about. The game was called 2 Extreme, by the way. 2 Extreme.
Okay, nice. So, I'm trying to think of like, do you remember Dreamcast, right?
Hell yeah, man! I had a Dreamcast.
There was a game called Seaman. Do you remember that?
No. I had very few games for the Dreamcast for some reason. I think the Dreamcast came out so close to like the original Xbox that I switched or it might have been the PS2. Came out like right before the PS2, then I swapped. Yep. I switched,
and that's why it did so bad. It's because everybody bought the other console. But so Seaman came out with Dreamcast, and basically it was just you were this little fish guy. It was a fish with a man's face, and you would have to raise him from like an egg in this little glass. He was in an aquarium, and it came with a microphone, so you could actually talk into the Dreamcast and talk to this thing, and it knew like 2,000 or 3,000 different like words, and it would talk back to you, and you could like swear at it, and it would like swear at you, and it was awesome. Totally probably not something I should have been playing as like a freaking 10-year-old, but
yeah.
To really fuck with their minds in the future, I would send that. This is what you guys used to be. You used to have tails and fins, and you would swear.
Yeah. Man, what game was I just thinking about? 007 GoldenEye from N64 days.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Or just Smash Brothers or like Mario or something. I don't know. There's so many good ones, but I think I'm sticking to my guns on GTA for the really deep, philosophical reasons.
Yeah, nah. I'm gonna go with you on that one. I think that's probably the best pick. If we're being responsible and want to show them what it was really like, then yeah, I feel like you. Yeah.
It sounds weird to say like I would recommend GTA 5. Like that's like the most you would never like let your child play that game, but like to teach people about how it used to be as a civilization, that's like a perfect example.
Isn't that sad though? It's like, hey, I would never let my child play that game, but that's like the most realistic game, right? True. It's like, hey, what's reality about? Well, just play this game and you'll find out.
Yeah.
No, you're not allowed to play this game. It's too real, right?
Yeah, that's
Isn't that weird? It's like
it's teaching you too much about the. Oh, wait, I can make money selling drugs? Hold on.
No. Santa's still real.
Yeah, exactly.
Calm down.
Well, that was a fun question, man. Thanks for bringing that one up. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, I got to keep it interesting. So, cool. That's it.
All right, man. Well, yeah, I guess that's all we got. That was a good episode, but I guess we should close it out.
Let's go ahead and close it out. So, everybody, thanks for sticking around and listening. We certainly had a lot of fun. Hope you did too. So please like and subscribe on YouTube. Also, subscribe on your favorite podcast player if you really want to help us grow. Share this episode with a friend.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, as always, let us know what you're drinking out there. Make sure you find us on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook. We're on all those places. Check us out at thegingerinthebeard.com. And stay tuned for some more episodes, more content coming your way.
Yep, and make sure to drink water. Peace.
Yeah. See ya.
Drink water, drink water, drink water, bitch. Oh, drink water, drink water, drink water, bitch. Oh, drink water, drink water, drink.